Perfect.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling with Goody. How everybody doing out there? Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners, all my subscribers, all my supporters here at the 11:30 podcast. Appreciate it so much. If you're new to the podcast and if you're new to the 11:30 podcast YouTube channel, y'all already know, man. Hit that subscribe button down below, like, leave a comment it. And share it, man. Do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, back at it, man. Time to talk some pro wrestling, man. I'm in the building. Man, I got an amazing guest that's joining me this week, man. He's coming back here. He's from the Call Up Podcast. He's the host of the Call Up Podcast. My guy Kenny is joining me here on Talk Pro Wrestling this week. Man, it's gonna be a dope one, man. We're gonna be chatting it up. All things wrestling, man. So sit tight. It's gonna be a dope one. But yo, Kenny, what's going on, my guy?
Dre, what is going on, baby? What's the deal? Thank you for having me back.
Man, I appreciate it.
You know, good to be here. Starting off ending the week. You know, we got a nice little pay-per-view this weekend.
Yeah,
I wish I was out there, but I had already taken a trip down to Vegas like last week, so I wish I would have just maybe switched things around. But hey, listen, it is what it is. There's always next year.
Yeah, there's always next year, man. We got a lot to get into. Appreciate you coming back on the podcast. Like I was saying, man, you were here back in I think it was January. I was looking at some stuff. Man, it's been a lot of things that been going on, obviously, just in the world and in wrestling in general, though. But how life's been treating you since then, man?
Life's been good so far. Wife and kids are doing great. We're getting ready for the summertime now. So that means basketball camp and trying to plan trips for these kids to keep them busy. Obviously, New York City, if you guys are hearing in the background, you know what I mean? It's like constantly, anytime I do a podcast, it's always, no matter what time of the day, it's New York City, you're always going to hear freaking fire trucks going somewhere.
Hey, man.
And then just doing stuff with the show. Like I've been working with this amazing group called the Knuckleheads. They have a network called the Knuckleheads Network. So I jumped on with them, and we do shows. Like the network itself does shows every single day, like Monday through Friday. They have something going. They kind of help me like bump my show to one of their time slots. Yeah. So like every Monday I do a Monday Night Raw watch along with myself, my tag team partner Toe Tags, and my other tag team partner Show. We're like the 3-man team that gives you the play-by-play of Monday Night Raw. We talk a little bit of sports, we talk a little bit of life. So we kind of like tie everything together. We just started doing trivia on Mondays, which is great. So people really enjoyed it, and it started bringing more people in. So we'll do trivia and test your knowledge of wrestling. And then on Wednesdays I do conversations with Kenny, and where I bring somebody in, whether it's somebody in the pro wrestling world or another content creator, or excuse me, or it was just me having a fun conversation for like 30 minutes to an hour, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it, man. I was watching the episode with you and Shane Thorne. I thought that was a really, really great episode. Just multiple. Yeah. But man, like I said, I haven't had you on since January, and like I said, a whole bunch of wrestling been going on.
Oh yeah.
One thing I think that has been standing out just in wrestling in general, obviously with Cody Rhodes coming over to WWE and just so much. We're gonna get into everything. But before we do, for everyone who's listening and everyone who's watching, before we get into the wrestling, prayers go out to all the families and all the little ones down in Texas for all the I believe it was 19 kids who sadly lost their life, man. Just real sad, man.
Yeah, I have two boys that are literally the ages of a lot of the kids that were they got their lives taken away from them. I have a fourth grader and I have a first grader here, so To hear something like that, it really bothered me. I had to have a talk with them yesterday,
Yeah.
about it. So, and that was even hard as a dad to have that conversation with like your two boys. This is not the first time I had to have, conversations with them about things like this, which is not something that I remember my dad or my mom talking to me about, growing up. So for me to have to do this, I remember my dad's not around anymore. He passed away, a couple of years ago. So I had to like call my mom and be like, I don't remember you ever talking to me about this, growing up. So yeah, but I can only imagine the things that these families are going through right now.
Yeah, man. I can only imagine. I was just coming back from an appointment with my fiance. We were just having a check up for the baby and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I just look up and I was just like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
like my heart just broke just for all of them. It's
Yeah.
just like really, but sad, man, sad. Like I said, prayers definitely go out to all the families and that lost everyone on this past week. But you guys, man, we're gonna get into everything. Yo, Kenny, man, one thing I was about to mention, you met Stone Cold, right?
Yes.
You met Stone Cold for the first time. But
Mm-hmm.
I was following you, and the story is pretty awesome though.
Right.
And how you met Stone Cold when you were younger,
Mm-hmm.
and you took a picture with him. The picture got lost,
Yeah.
but over the WrestleMania weekend, you got to meet your idol, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes.
Man, I was reading the post, and I was like, man, that is some cool stuff right there.
Yeah.
And talk to me about losing that photo, man, and then actually getting to meet Austin, WrestleMania weekend.
All right. So when I was around 13, 14 years old, um, was a SummerSlam, like 2018 was coming to. It was 2009, 2000. It wasn't even 2000. It was 1998, and SummerSlam was coming to New York. That's when, WWF was still, really red hot, Attitude Era. Um, they were doing SummerSlam Highway to Hell in Madison Square Garden. All these different talents were going around doing autograph sessions, and Stone Cold so happened to be doing a meet and greet at a big record store in Times Square. I begged my mom to let me cut school and go there early in the morning and wait. My mom, being the cool mom that she is, she said yes. She said, go, be careful. And I went by myself. Another friend of mine, he couldn't go because his mom was just like, no, you're going to school. So I waited around, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours, because I remember I was there all day.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before we had cameras on our cell phones and everything else. We had the little flip phones and it didn't have a camera on it. So you had to get the disposable cameras, right? So I went and bought I had a camera that my dad had. I took that with me. I bought film, put the film in there, waited online, got to the line, met Stone Cold Steve Austin. The guy takes my camera. He takes the picture. He goes, "Hey, there was no flash." I said, "It's cool because it's daytime. It's light out. You should be able to at least get the film from that."
Mm-hmm.
So I remember just snapping photos of just different things around Times Square just to, empty out the film. Because basically all I wanted was that one picture of me and Austin. Take it to the film place, let them to get developed. I waited a couple of hours for them to do it. I get back and the lady tells me there's nothing on this film. It's completely done. Like nothing came out. And I was like, wow. So, after that, I didn't really get too many meet and greets with Austin because he wasn't really doing those like that. Then he retired.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped watching wrestling for a while. And then the couple of times that they were doing meet and greets with Austin, it was out of state. And, my financial situation wasn't the best at that time. I'm in my 20s. I'm in college. I'm trying to get myself together. I don't have money like that. So I never got to really meet him. So fast forward to this year, I told my wife, I said, "Hey, listen, WrestleMania is going to be in Dallas. I'm like 90% sure Austin is going to do a meet and greet. I feel it." And she's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "If he does one, I'm going to drop everything that I'm doing and I'm going to go." She's like, "Okay." My friend, I work nights, so normally I'm sleeping throughout the daytime. throughout the morning into the afternoon. So I have to get my kids. So a friend of mine, he texts me. He sends me the link. He says, "You need to jump on this now." And I'm sleeping, so I don't hear anything. Once I'm asleep, I don't hear my phone go off unless it's like the alarm. I get up and I see this message, and all I see is like a meeting. I did the right thing though. So some people, be like, "Oh," I called my wife and I said, "Hey, it's happening." So she goes, "Just go." As soon as she gave me the green light, I took out my credit card, purchased the meet and greet ticket. Mind you, I have no flight. I have nowhere to stay. But I bought a meet and greet ticket to go meet Stone Cold Steve Austin. So then after I did that, I went online, obviously, to look for a flight. I got the flight, got there. I literally went in the same day as the meet and greet. I got there early Thursday morning. Went to my hotel room, slept because I was tired. Got on the line. My friend calls me. He says he's waiting for me downstairs at the line because the venue was right across the street from my hotel. I got lucky. I found a hotel that's literally across the street from where they're doing the meet and greet. So all I had to do was get up, go across the street, do it, and I can come back to my room or do whatever it is I need to do. But I got to meet Austin. I told him the story about what happened of me losing the film, and my friends. One of my friend's friends was there, and I said, "Hey, can you record me walking up to Austin?" And he so happens to just record the whole thing of us having that conversation and me telling him that, which is like the best thing. So he told the girl taking the photo, he's like, "Make sure this comes out," because the first time me and him met, it didn't come out, and the girl did a great job. I was like super nervous. I didn't know what to really say to him, but I wanted to make sure I get that story out. And my wife goes, she's like, you talked to so many different stars, in wrestling. Why did you get nervous with him? And I said, I have no idea. Like, I've met different people and I've shaking their hand, say, I really admire their work. And with Austin, it was just like, wow, it's him. It's really him.
Yeah.
And I was like, the little kid in me was like jumping up and down. But the outside of me was still jumping up and down too at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Hey, look here, man. I'm excited for you. And I was excited for you when I saw that. I was like, man, that's an incredible, a really, really incredible story. Because, me growing up, I was a big fan of The Rock. That was my guy, number one all day long. And my first event wasn't until 2006. And Rock had stopped wrestling at that point. Stone Cold would, periodically, you show up. And I would see Stone Cold. I would see a bunch of, top guys, but The Rock was the only one that I haven't seen. So fast forward to a time where it's the match with John Cena and The Rock, and going into WrestleMania 29. He was going to be in DC, so I was like, man, I got to go. I mean, I couldn't get a meet and greet though, but man, just being in the arena and just feeling that electricity of your favorite superstar, I definitely understand what you're saying, man. That was definitely dope. Definitely dope. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on Talk Pro Wrestling. We're gonna get into some wrestling trending topics though, and we're gonna get some thoughts and opinions from my man Kenny though. But Stephanie McMahon, CFO, Chief Financial Officer, or former Chief Financial Officer of WWE, has stepped down of World Wrestling Entertainment. Do you see her likely coming back? Or because I was talking with my guys, commission was the other day, and they were saying that her position is, being wide open. They looking for, new people, etc., whatever the case may be. But, how you feel about Stephanie McMahon no longer being in WWE for the time being, or, you feel like she would come back?
Okay. I mean, I think we all need the break. We have to, we got to realize this. When we think of Stephanie McMahon, we think of Stephanie McMahon, the on-air character, which she hasn't been for quite some time now. It's okay to take a break. We all need to take these breaks, and just like get ourselves together, focus on like family, like she said, and that's the same thing with Triple H when he had that, that issue with his heart, he had to take that time off. He could have just easily done the surgery, take a little bit of time, and just go right back at it. But you got to think of your family first. They have kids. They want to see these kids grow up, and with a busy lifestyle, like we're trying to run a major corporation like WWE. Um, it's gonna take a toll on you. It's gonna take a lot of things out of you. And one of those things that, as a parent, you're gonna miss certain things. Recitals, sporting events. Um, you know, they have girls, so like boys breaking their heart or girls talking crap about them. And not for nothing. Like my job is really stressful depending on the hour of the day. So like I switch my job schedule in order to be more at home with my boys. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm glad I made the decision, because now like the things that we do, after school and stuff like that, they wouldn't be able to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have that transition shift over. So I truly understand when she says like she wants to focus on her family a little bit more and take that time off.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So like I'm hoping that this time off doesn't hurt the women's division too much, because like her and Triple H are really big advocates for the women's division in WWE. And you see that anytime there's something big that happens with the women, Triple H is there, Stephanie is there. You don't really see anybody else. Even Vince McMahon, you really don't see him either like that. So I'm hoping that somebody takes that time and really focuses on the women's division the way Stephanie and Triple H did. And we can still see the progress of all the women in the company.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. Hopefully, somebody else could definitely step up, because I know Finley. I think he's one of the main, guys back,
Right.
in the behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
that work with the women and stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully, definitely somebody can step up. You mentioned how Stephanie taking the back seat, obviously, because she got a family, got a bunch of girls,
Mm-hmm.
and you being a father, and me being a soon to be dad. Also, have you missed any birthdays or recitals or any like games or
Oh my
anything like
God,
that?
I can tell you. So when my son was 3 and my other son was just born a couple of months, he was a couple of months old.
Mm.
They went to Florida. I missed that. Um, they went to Puerto Rico to visit family. I missed that. There's a whole bunch of times where they've gone on different trips, and I've missed it. The one thing that I can always say that I always try to make it to is like um, school plays, parent teacher night,
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like I try to make those as much as possible. And then now, now that with the change in my schedule, like I'm more involved. Like me and another parent, we take a group of kids from his class and my other son's class, and we let them play basketball for an hour, after school. So it's grown, because we went from 4 kids, which is my 2 kids, his 2 kids, to about maybe like now we have like 8 kids. So we picked up an additional 4,
Hey, that's what's up.
and
Mhm.
they all enjoy it. They have that safety of that they can play, and we know that nothing's gonna happen, as parents. And then other parents come and they see what we do, and they're like, okay, they'll bring around their kids and stuff like that, and you get to know all the other parents that come in there, which is great. But I wouldn't give it up. I love the way. I'm glad I made that decision. My wife
Yeah,
works during the daytime. I work at night. Um, she's with them at nighttime when they're like off going to bed, and I'm with them throughout the day. So I'm dealing with homework. I'm dealing with. I hear all the issues that go on in school. I'm involved in PTA meetings,
yeah,
which
yeah.
we actually have one today. So once I finish it for you, I got to log back into Zoom and go into a PTA meeting. So yeah, I'm like fully. I'm one of those parents that you see. They're like, oh, they're always involved. Like, yeah, I know everything that happens.
Hey, that's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up. Hey, look here. I'm always reaching out to my guys, man, whether it's on a podcast or my
Mhm.
guys that I know, for daddy advice. So if you were, to miss, in an event like you said, a trip or so, how you make it
Mhm.
up to them?
So if I know, like, if it's like little trips, I normally would just say, okay, I'll make the next one,
Okay.
for sure, because like my wife is really big on like family trips. So like this weekend, I think we're going to do a couple of things, with her family. So like her family is like really big on, like going on different trips and stuff like that, which is great. So like if I miss something, obviously I'll hear it, especially from like my sister-in-law, and then um I always try to make up. So like we're going to Disney for, we'll go and I'll make sure that I'm there. If we
Okay.
go to like the Poconos, which is in Pennsylvania, I'll make sure I go. You know what I mean? But if it's like, hey, we're gonna go to a water park, okay, I can skip that, and in case I have to work or something like that, and I'll make a next like bigger trip.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I get it, man. I definitely get it. Definitely understand it, man. Because kids are definitely
Yeah.
our priority, man, and gotta definitely put them first, man. But yeah, like we was telling about, with Stephanie McMahon talking about with Stephanie McMahon, her taking time off because of kids, and I believe one of them, if not the oldest one, I believe they are training to become a wrestler.
Yeah, I think they wanted to do that. Like I know that was something that they talked about, like, and they said like, if she wanted to continue pursuing that, like what would they do? And they said, they'll, let them do it. And I mean, and I think that's just a kid being a kid, just exploring it. If that's something that
Yeah.
they really want to do, because like my son, he he went from soccer to basketball. My other son went from soccer to basketball to karate, back to basketball. So
Oh man. Okay. They adventurous,
oh yeah.
when they young. Okay, Cody Rhodes definitely made his impactful debut at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Throughout that weekend, did you attend WrestleMania or you just went down to just
No,
see Austin?
I literally just went for the Austin event. I
Okay.
went that Thursday and I flew back Friday.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. How you feel about Cody? Being the top big star of AEW, the first top big star of AEW, coming over to WWE. It seemed like he hasn't missed since he been back.
You know, it was when I heard the news that Cody was going to come back to WWE, it was something that was really shocking to me. Just because, like, one, he's one of the EVPs of AEW. We've seen it in Rose to the Top, where like you've seen how his like what part he played in the company. So when they said that he was leaving, I saw, this gotta be like BS. And then he
Mhm.
he leaves, and now it's the waiting game. Just like, you're sitting there waiting. You're like, okay, when is this gonna happen? And then he shows up, and then there was the rumors like, hey, he's gonna fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And then you start seeing the little stuff that's going on. You're like, okay, this is really gonna happen. Now watching Cody in WWE is like if they literally just took him from AEW and placed him in WWE and was like, okay, have fun, you know. And I remember saying this last week, was I believe last week or the week before, where I said like Cody is turning into John Cena,
Hmm.
where when John Cena was becoming the hustle, loyalty, and respect, and the guy that was doing all the Make a Wish,
Mhm.
WWE capitalized on that and made him, technically they made him the face of WWE. Like I know people always say like, well, Roman Reigns is the tribal chief, he's their universal champion, and he's their their top guy. There's something where I say there's a top guy and then there's a face of the company. Like he's the guy that you will let them go out and say like, hey, like we need you to talk to these group of kids today. Sure, no problem. Like it's gonna be Roman, it's gonna be um Cody now. I see that a lot more where he's announcing different dates for different shows now.
Mhm.
He did the whole commercial of Money in the Bank. They could have gotten anybody else. They could have still capitalized on the fact that Roman Reigns is your champion and used Roman for Money in the Bank, which they've done before when he wasn't champion.
Mhm.
And it's like to use Cody and the way they use them, I'm just like, yeah, you're turning into John Cena now. Like you're gonna be that guy the next that when they go to the UK, even though Roman is on the cover, they're going to use Cody Rhodes to promote that pay-per-view.
Yeah. They are. They definitely are, and I can definitely see him becoming, the John Cena since he's been back. You feel like he's WWE's. They preparing him to be the next top guy, the next top star, because
Yeah,
Roman
and
Reigns is definitely taking some time off
oh yeah,
in a couple of weeks or so.
that's another person who needs time off too. I mean, he has what 3-4 kids. Like wife at home. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that break, and it's good that you have somebody there. I mean, WWE in a whole has stars that they can rely on. That if they need be, if Roman needs to take, as much time off as possible, where you can just easily pluck one or two, dump them in that spot, and say, okay, I need you guys to go. And I think we're seeing that more and more, where a lot of the stars, a lot of the talent that there's in WWE is starting to step up more. Riddle is stepping up more. Austin Theory is stepping up more. Cody, Seth, Chad Gable, Kevin Owens, and even Ezekiel. These are all people that they could still put on a really great show if Roman is not there.
Yeah. And it seems like like you said, Roman definitely taking some time off. I thought he was going to take some time off immediately after Royal Rumble, but obviously it seemed like they needed him longer. But definitely Cody Rhodes seem as though they putting him together to be the next top star, like you mentioned in that Money in the Bank commercial, which I thought it was pretty weird if they're going to now have the Money in the Bank winner go on to main event WrestleMania. So that leaves the Royal Rumble up in tossed up in the air. Like what happens with the Royal Rumble?
I talked about this with my co-host on a Monday, and I said, and I know we most likely will probably end up talking about it again tonight on his show. But one thing that I said, I was like, I found it very interesting, one, that the person who wins Money in the Bank is going to get an opportunity to main event WrestleMania. Now, if I was creative, I would go do two things. If you're going to take the title off of Roman to give him time off, why not give it to Cody Rhodes? Let Cody be that guy to win Money in the Bank. And then the next pay-per-view is SummerSlam, which most likely Drew McIntyre is going to be that opponent for Roman going into SummerSlam. That could lead you to have Cody go for the title at Survivor Series. Because guess what? Survivor Series was more of a brand split pay-per-view. You have no champion on Raw. It's everything is Roman. So who is Roman going to face at Survivor Series? Why not put Cody in that Survivor Series? I don't want to see Cody on Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Cody in that main event picture. Let him win it at Survivor Series. That gives Roman time off, and then let him go, from SmackDown here and there, let him get the time off, and then go into Royal Rumble, where you said, it was like, well, what happens with Royal Rumble now? Like, Cody doesn't want to wait until WrestleMania to get that title match, and that's how we get that title match at Survivor Series. Now you can go back to the original plan for the Royal Rumble, where the winner gets a title shot at WrestleMania, and they have the main event. You know what I mean? So that could still work itself in there. I don't know. Let's see what WWE does with that. And then being that, say, like, now Roman is not champion, he tries to throw himself into the Royal Rumble and say, you know what, I'm just going to win the Royal Rumble, because guess what happens? The Rock interferes in his plans for the Royal Rumble, and that's how we get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of paints itself in a way. Like, obviously, you have to do long-term storytelling for the for TV, but that's just a start.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Okay, I can dig it. I know Money in the Bank, because WWE just announced that they are changing the location from the Alliance Stadium.
I remember there was reports on it that they're leaving Alliance Stadium and going to the MGM Grand.
Yes.
So they officially announced. I haven't been on my phone, so I don't know.
Yeah, they officially announced that, and so then they're going to be in MGM Grand. So I believe now that after this year, now Money in the Bank is going to be one of them big pay-per-views, and it seems though Cody Rhodes is most likely to win the Money in the Bank contract.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about main eventing WrestleMania with the Money in the Bank contract.
Right.
I preferably like the Money in the Bank to be sort of now. Me be honest, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is sort of everyone's favorite pay-per-view to look forward
Mm-hmm.
to see who's going to be that next guy to potentially win the
Mm-hmm.
WWE Championship or the Women's Championship. And I think Money in the Bank now, like I said, got his own pay per view. It should just be at WrestleMania. And I
Right.
haven't seen a Money in the Bank winner who went the whole almost 365 days as Money in the Bank, contract holder. As if he just continues and continues and continues to
Uh-huh.
try. Now, this won't work for Cody Rhodes because the type of star he is. But for someone else, it would be real, real interesting. I think the story would be unique. Every time they keep going
Right.
out there to try to cash in, it don't work out. They just been Money in the Bank champion or briefcase holder forever, and eventually it pays off. But I don't know. I don't know. I see them throwing some type of twist in it with it, but. Like you said, we would definitely definitely find out. You mentioned Randy Orton and Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? What you think's next for them? Since Randy Orton is off of TV right now, and
Well, I
good.
think for them that I mean, obviously it looks like you're gonna have Riddle versus Roman
Roman.
at Hell in a Cell. That's gonna give that's gonna give Randy Orton some time off, and then you're gonna end up getting. I believe you're gonna see Riddle get destroyed on this pay per view through through the bloodline, and then that's when Randy will come out and challenge Roman and try to help his tag team partner, and that's how we'll get Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. How they're gonna tie in Drew McIntyre? I think at this point you could just throw him in there anywhere and just say like,
Yeah.
okay, this is it. Like,
Mm. Yeah, I think with Drew, you can kind of like throw him in there because they got the Castle, the whole big old Castle pay per view
mhm,
that's coming up in the UK. So it's already kind of like slated that Drew and Roman is going to fight. And I was hearing maybe with Riddle taking on Roman, and then right after that, Randy coming back after his little time off, taking
mhm,
on Roman, and then that's how Riddle and Randy
mhm,
combust because Riddle is, I love you, Randy. I'm there for you. Now you back and you lost also, like I
mhm.
lost. I'm gonna try to help you. But Randy Orton didn't ask for your help. So that's how
Right.
that, could bust and then, Randy Orton and Riddle. But I would like to see that go on a little longer because obviously they're having fun. So that'd be cool. That'd be cool. But we're gonna move on, you guys, here on Talk Pro Wrestling. Well, the talk of the town over the last week or so has been Sasha Banks and Naomi after being stripped for their tag team championships, and not only that, been suspended, and they walked out, of course, on Monday Night Raw. Are I mean, who do you feel for Sasha and Naomi, or you kind of like with WWE on this side, or just just in the middle? Really don't care.
Listen, I've been in situations at work where you get frustrated and you want to walk out. A lot of people compare like their jobs to what these two women do for a living, and you got to think about everyone's job is different. Everybody's situation is completely different. If we was to walk out of our jobs right now, I most likely will get suspended. I don't think they will fire me because my job is pretty hard, and for me to like get fired unless I do something super crazy. You know what I mean? But they would suspend me like they would like they did Sasha and Naomi. Do I agree with the stuff that they did? Yes, because if you're frustrated, okay, you're going to react.
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel like they let everyone down like the way Michael Cole said on SmackDown? No. I think they let maybe some kids down that wanted to see them that night. Yeah. But as a fan, I'm like, no, you didn't let me down. Like, stand up for what you believe in. get what you need to do. Do what you need to do with yourself. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if you're not happy, it's gonna show. And we've seen it with plenty of people. We've seen it with Ronda Rousey. That when she's not happy about something, it shows it in her match. When Charlotte Flair is not happy with something, you see it in her work. You know what I mean? At least we know, like, hey, Sasha's not gonna go out there and give you a half-ass match if she's not happy about it. And even when she lost the tag titles the first time, she wasn't happy about losing the tag titles. She still went out there and put on a really great show for the audience. And this time, I just believe that she got tired of everything that they had to say, and it was just like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just gonna leave. And it's not the first time that somebody in WWE has done this. I can go back to the 80s. Okay, Sergeant Slaughter has done it. He's left WWF when he didn't get what he needed. Ultimate Warrior has done the same thing. Hogan has done the same thing. Brock Lesnar has done the same thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin has done the same thing. Like these are guys that we look up to, and there are men that have done this, and people welcome them with open arms like it's nothing. And I felt bad because it's like, okay, there are two females and they're just getting like freaking crucified online, and it's just like, come on, people, like you would do the same thing too if you could. And to call them spoiled and to say they should be lucky and do what they just shut up and work, and that's a mentality that I don't even tell my kids that. You know what I mean? I tell my kids, like, you fight for what you believe, and even if it's with me, and they fight me on everything. Fight for what you want, and I'm glad that they're fighting for what they want. And they're not asking for money. No. They're not asking to be Raw and SmackDown champion like the way Bayley and Sasha was when they had all the gold. Like, they're not asking for that. They're asking to elevate the women's tag division. Because we've all said the same thing. Why? What's the point of having the women's tag if you have no tag teams?
What is the point? And I'm trying to figure that out myself. And over the last couple of years, they have released numerous of people, women, just people in general, that they don't even have enough to have a tag team division.
They said that they're doing a women's tag team tournament to crown new women's champions.
It's going to be 4 teams.
Who?
It's going to be 4 teams. It's going to be Doudrop and Nikki ASH. It's going to be probably Carmella and Zelina if they get back together.
They're not even getting along. They're not even together anymore.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. There's only 2 tag teams. 2 in WWE. You have Doudrop and Nikki, and you have Shayna Baszler and Natty. That's it. Is that your tournament? You might as well just put them in a match at Hell in a Cell and let them go at it for the titles, because I don't know who. In order to do a tournament, you need at least you need at least 10 to 12 competitors. I'm gonna say 12 off the top of my head. You don't have 12 tag teams. You barely have women in your roster already. So to say that you're gonna do a tournament, I would love to see this happen. I want to see who's gonna be involved in this.
And I feel like I feel like just like everybody else feel, tournament is going to be, it's going to be bull crap. They're going to do a tournament, but I feel like neither of those 2 teams that you just mentioned are going to win it. It's going to be someone they find, someone maybe new, fresh, or NXT 2.0 that bring them up, which I don't think they would, but
you know what's going to happen, right? And I'm saying this, and when it happens, you're gonna send me a message, and you're gonna be like, "Damn, you was right." They're gonna go through with this tag team tournament, and they're gonna get the Bellas to come back for this tag team tournament.
Wow!
And they're going to give them the belts. You know why? Because they just want somebody to hold the titles. Why not give it to the Bellas? Where Nikki already said she would love to try and compete for the tag team titles with her sister. You don't need to put her in a lot of matches, but you could put Brie in a whole bunch of matches against other people. You can have Nikki talk the whole entire time.
That is something.
Remember I said that. When
I
you
def-
look and they make the Bellas the freaking tag team champs, you're like, damn. And then you know who's gonna be the last two to freaking compete in this? It's gonna be the Bellas, and it's gonna be Shayna Baszler and Natty, because Natty has history with the Bella twins.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I would definitely be hitting you up if that happens.
I'm
Oh
telling
man. Speaking of tag team titles, did you feel like them putting the titles on the Usos was kind of like a slap in the face for them to Naomi and Sasha
you. No,
losing?
no. The Usos deserve those tag team titles. They've been
Okay.
putting in that work for a very long time. I was just the other day I was watching Hell in a Cell 2018, where the Usos took on the New Day for the tag titles, and it made me go back to like the Usos New Day feud, where they put the tag team division on their back and they ran with it. And the New Day, unfortunately, is not together as a whole, because they obviously got separated. But the Usos are there, and they continue to be that strong force in the tag team division, right along with Alpha Academy and the Street Profits.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to be the undisputed tag team champs, bravo. I hope that like WWE do those like commemorative collector's edition titles. Mm-hmm. They need to do something for the Usos, like the way they did for New Day. Because like when the New Day went to become the longest reigning tag team champions, they made them a belt. Mm-hmm. They had a customized belt for them that that people bought. I have one, you know what I mean? And they need to do one for the Usos, and if they do that for the Usos, I'm buying that too. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely with you, man. I'm definitely with you. I kind of, because Arcade Bro was definitely hot, and I thought maybe they'd give it to Arcade Bro. Just the look that Roman Reigns gave at the beginning of the show, and it was like, like, are you gonna help your cousins, or are you gonna like let your cousins down? But eventually, he helped his cousins, so I dig it, man. I'm all there for the Usos, man. The Bloodline is definitely dope, man. Speaking of tag teams titles, AEW is considering their women's tag team title. You think that would be a smart idea?
No, they need to. I love AEW. Don't get me wrong. Their women's division needs so much work. Mm-hmm. You have people in place that could elevate your women's division. You have Serena D, who's like literally in my eyes.
Real quick before you finish that, I did not know until I seen something online that Serena Deeb was the actual person with CM Punk in the storyline back in 2009. Yes. So that blew my mind.
So Serena D not only was a part of the straight edge society. Oh, look, getting that phone call. It's like, yo, hurry up. Not only did she play that really great role with the straight edge society with CM Punk and Luke Gallows, but Serena D is also the reason why, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley are the way that they are, like, because she helped train them. They were in NXT. You know what I mean? And she's one of the best women's technical wrestlers in any. I don't care who you have in your company. Serena D is better than your top champion in any company you have.
I dig it. Hey, she's gonna be taking on Thunder Rosa this Sunday at Double or Nothing. I like the look Thunder Rosa presented herself on Dynamite this week. But hey, it's gonna be a toss-up match. We're gonna get into some AEW predictions in just a moment. Wardlow, I feel like, is taking off to another level right now.
Oh, he's becoming a freaking mega
star. Yeah. Like, how you feel about Wardlow, and how long you feel like? I mean, it's no rush, but how long you feel like Wardlow is going to be a top star in wrestling?
I think Wardlow, at the rate that he's going right now, I think he really needed this storyline with MJF to show the type of talent that he is. You know, to go through the stages of the MJF stages, like you've seen different sides of what you've seen the acting side of Wardlow. You've seen that Wardlow could freaking go off the top rope and do high risk moves. He's super fast in the ring for a guy his size. You know, not for nothing. Like if Tony doesn't lock Wardlow down with a new contract, I can see him being a person that would jump over to WWE because he fits what they want. Imagine Wardlow versus Drew McIntyre, who both these guys can do moves that not too many big guys should be doing, you know, for their height and size. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Imagine Wardlow and like Roman going at it. Like, and you know, like it's endless for Wardlow. I love the growth that he's been getting for the last couple of weeks. So I can't wait to see what happens on Sunday against him and MJF.
Yeah, me neither. I've been seeing the rise over the last couple of weeks of Wardlow. I dig it ever since this feud with MJF and him coming out there in handcuffs, no music, and just taking out all the security guards, and even winning the matchup this Wednesday on Dynamite, which I thought it was hilarious when Shawn Spears moved and MJF took the chair shot and he sold it. But yeah, Wardlow is definitely going to the top. But like you said, you take on MJF this Sunday as we get into some Double or Nothing predictions. Who you have winning this match between them two?
I'm gonna give it to Wardlow. I think that MJF doesn't need the win. I think MJF he solidified himself to being a top star that he can afford to lose this match. I can see Wardlow going in and getting that match and getting out of his contract supposedly with MJF and getting into a contract with AEW and maybe possibly going for the TNT title, because that's basically like the only title that they have right now that he can go for, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen with the main event.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happen. Wardlow going over on MJF, and unless AEW pulls some type of move where they want to continue this story, but Double or Nothing is kind of like they WrestleMania, right? So yeah,
I don't think so. I think All Out,
All Out
is like their WrestleMania in Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I can either way. I can see this going both ways.
This is like their SummerSlam to me.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and we got the Hardys taking on the Young Bucks. Who you have in this one? I'm a side with the Young Bucks on this one.
I mean, I'm gonna give it to the Hardys because I think just because they're coming close to the end of maybe like their third or fourth run in pro wrestling, so I'm gonna give it to the Hardys. I think Tony is more of the nostalgia type of a booker where he's like, okay, if the Young Bucks need this, then cool, but I haven't really seen anything story wise that would make me say like, okay, this is gonna be. I think this is just like a throw-in match at this point because, like, what build have we seen between these four guys?
Not nothing really.
Yeah.
And
so
Jeff been sort of working single matches. I mean, he's been working single matches. Some of them been tag team matches. So that's in a way I kind of like seeing the Young Bucks kind of like winning and going on to something else, and then maybe Jeff do some single runs and Matt just be by his side. I'm not sure, but hey, could go both ways. Definitely both ways. But like you said, Serena Deeb going to take on Thunder Rosa. I got Thunder Rosa retaining the title, though.
Right.
How about you?
I could see Thunder Rosa retaining the title. I think, she needs this match just because they haven't been really using her like they're supposed to. We seen it last night, too, where she was still mid promo and they put her music on. And I'm just like, she's not even finished. Like, let her talk.
Yeah.
I got Thunder Rosa winning. She's my girl. I have her winning it because if you put it on Serena D, who do you have in the women's division that's going to take this title off of her? You don't really have anyone
Mm-hmm.
that will make some type of sense.
Yeah.
For her to get the victory, unless you put Sheeta, but Sheeta's hurt, and I don't really see Britt Baker trying to get back into that title picture against Serena D. It does not match in my eyes, so I would definitely go with Thunder Rosa for the win.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all with you, Thunder Rosa. You just mentioned Britt Baker. She's going to be in the final matchup with the
Yep.
Owen Hart tournament against Chris Statlander. I got Chris
Yeah.
Statlander taking that one
Me
all the way.
too. I think this will benefit Chris Statlander tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
She's been growing the last couple of months, so to get this win for the Owen Hart Cup, I'm all for it. Like I said, like Britt Baker, she doesn't need this. She's just in the tournament. I don't even know why they put her in the tournament. You could have put in anybody else in there, but obviously you need more star power, in there. So why not have Britt Baker in there? But yeah, let's go Statlander all the way.
Okay. Adam Cole or Samoan Joe, who's going to take on the men's side? Adam Cole, baby.
The rematch that everybody wants to see. Everyone says that when you go to AEW, the gloves are off. If the show that Adam Cole and Samoa Joe gave to us in NXT was anything, it was a warm up. This match right here better be outstanding. I'm a fan of both guys. I love both guys, so it's hard to pick who would I choose. If I had to choose anyone, I'm going to say Samoa Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm right along with you because I think over just the last few years, Joe it just seemed like once he get his feet up under him, they get pulled right from under him, with an injury or so. So I think this would be definitely good for Samoa Joe. We got the Jericho Appreciation Society taking on Bryan Danielson.
Uh-huh.
John Moxley, Pride and Powerful, and who else on that team?
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. Yes,
Yep.
Eddie Kingston in an Anarchy of
Yep.
whatever match. But all over the arena. Who you got on this side right here? I want to say William Regal boy. William Regal.
I'm gonna go the same way. I'm a big Eddie Kingston fan. I like Bryan Danielson, and Pride and Powerful. They're from New York. So, they're repping it. They're Santana's from the Bronx. Grew up around the same area. So I'm gonna go with them just because they're my hometown favorites. And does Jericho really need the win? Why? First of all, why is Jericho even here? Like, I love Chris Jericho. Don't get me wrong. And if anybody seeing this and you're a Chris Jericho fan, you'd be like, "What is this guy talking about? He's a freaking hater." Like, I love Chris Jericho. I'm a big Chris Jericho fan. But it's like Flair. Like, at this point, like, can you just relax? Can you just go sit down, do your podcast, go tour with Fozzy, go get another Jericho cruise? Let's relax. Like, be a mentor to these guys that you have with you and elevate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people kind of like still scratching their head on Chris Jericho. I believe it's just the star power that's really it, and him just around so many young guys that's in the business, and so many young guys who were all over in WWE also that's now in AEW, and he's kind of like the vet, besides the producers and the agents, he's kind of like, and also Sting, but he's kind of like one of the guys who've been around the business almost 30 years to kind of like give a little rub and try to teach the young guys. But other than that, yeah, Jericho could just sit down, do commentary, or like you said, tour with Fozzy or something though. But yeah. Okay. The triple threat matchup for the tag team titles. Jurassic Express taking on Keith Lee and Swerve, my man Swerve, whose house? Swerve House. And Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I got Jurassic Express retaining this. It'll be dope if Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland win it, but I don't think they are going to win it.
My money, if my heart says Swerve and Lee, but I know that they're gonna end up leaving it with Jurassic Express. I just have that feeling. If there was any indication of what we saw last night of how this match is gonna go, this is gonna be one of the best matches on the card for Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we got the main event. Just after all the things that CM Punk has done since he's been back or whatnot or said. I don't feel like they're going to put the belt on him, but some feel like there are. So I'm a little tossed up in this match, though. I'm a little 50-50. And it seems though with how Hangman Adam Page, how he received everything that CM Punk said, and also throw a punch at him, it seemed like he don't want to drop the belt to CM Punk neither. So I'm a little tossed up, but I think I'm going to go with Hangman Adam Page on this one.
I'm going to go with CM Punk. Because if you put it this way, CM Punk since coming back last year to wrestling, he's been building himself up. Everything was about, I want to work with this talent, I want to work with that talent. Now I want to go for the title. It's like, okay, so like now what do you do if CM Punk loses on Sunday? What is next for him? And then if you give him the title, how do you take it off of him?
Yeah, you're right. I think for one, if he doesn't win, I mean, he can go full heel, and we could see something with that. I don't know, but definitely if he wins the title, who's going to take him off? Who's going to take it off of him? I don't know.
And you know what? And that's a really good idea as far as like, if you're gonna lose, then you have to have a rematch again at All Out in September. So now we're in May. You can stretch a storyline out because let's be real, it's not like Hangman Adam Page is defending the title every week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then have Punk win it in Chicago in his hometown for All Out. So I mean, listen. Either way, I think this is going to be a really good match. If you put the belt on CM Punk, great. If you don't, then try and do it at All Out. So right now, my money's on CM Punk winning it, and let's see what happens after Sunday. Okay,
cool. We definitely going to see. Just to predict a few matches. Is there some other matches? I know Hook and Housing is going to be on the buy-in.
Hook Housing is taking on. Smart Mark Sterling, and I forgot who else. It was somebody else.
Was it Tony Nese?
Oh, boring ass Tony Nese. I'm sorry. Anytime we have I'm talking about wrestling and freaking boring ass Tony Nese comes on. The reason, and some people will probably say like, why is he calling him boring? The reason why I say fucking Tony Nese is boring as shit to me. If I can't curse you, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Is that you literally took your character from NXT and from 205 Live and brought it over to AEW and did nothing. You didn't elevate yourself. You didn't change. Everyone else that has left WWE has changed something about them. Mm-hmm. We got Bearcat in WWE, and then we get the old, somewhat old Keith Lee. We got Hit Row, Swerve. We kind of got more of that, but just turned up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then we have boring ass Tony Nese, who just comes in and flexes his muscle, and that's it. Like, seriously, like, do something.
Boring as Tony Nese. I won't think I'm gonna forget that one. Every time I see Tony Nese, I'm boring as Tony Nese.
Yeah, and I'm gonna the next time I go to an AEW show, and I know he's gonna end up doing freaking Dark or Rampage, I'm gonna bring a sign. I'm gonna make sure I take a picture, send it to you, and I'm like, boring ass Tony Nese. Like,
hey man, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Hey yo, man, Kenny, I appreciate you coming back here, man, on Talk Pro Wrestling, chopping it up with me, man. Just on wrestling, man. It's been a dope vibe as always. Before you go, man, any shout outs, any questions, anything you like to say?
I want to give a shout out to everybody that all the dads, because by the time next month is going to be Father's Day. So shout out to all the dads, all the new dads, all the old dads, all the stepdads, all the uncles that play dads, and all the godfathers that are out there that step up and you are a part of a young kid's life. We are their role models in some type of way, and we need to continue doing that, especially the way the world is going nowadays. And then shout out to all the guys over at the Knucklehead Network, all my family over there. Toe, Show, Lay, Gigi, Dave, and Krills and Cap. We do shows every single day. We actually have a show tonight, which I need to get ready for as well. So I'm all over the place today. And then shout out to the guys over at the Run In Podcast. They're my family too. So I gotta show them love, because they're gonna try and beat my ass.
Hey, that's what's up, man. You got a whole mob of family over there at the Call Up Podcast. If you guys haven't already, man, go subscribe, go listen, go watch, go follow the Call Up Podcast. Go follow my guy Kenny, man. For real, it's been a dope one. Thank you, man, for coming on the podcast once again. We're going to chop it up in just a few after this, but I thank everyone for tuning in this week here on the 1130 Podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. It was a dope one. Shout out to my guy Blackheart for having me on Wrestling Nerd, and also shout out to my guy Warren Marlowe Sabiyetti. We just wrapped up commission. We're going to be back in somewhat September after the summer passed by, and obviously I'm gonna be a dad, so that's going to be dope. So tune in to previous episodes of Buzzing with Marlowe, Off the Top Rope Podcast, and just catch up, man. For real, it's been a dope one. Before I go, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 Podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 Podcast. I like the 1130 Podcast on Facebook, and if you haven't done so already, the whole entire episode, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the 1130 Podcast. Yes, and also go ahead and subscribe to the Call Up Podcast for me, for real. And also, you guys, the 1130 Podcast will return new episodes this Wednesday, streaming on YouTube at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's been dope, man. I ain't gonna keep rattling on. You guys enjoy your weekend. Stay blessed, stay safe. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't He do it? All the prayers go out to all the families, man, and who lost all the kids, man, this past week, man. Real sad. But yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, for my dope guest, my man Kenny. Yo, man, we out.